Hello everyone, welcome to Basically Neda. I am Neda and this is my September wrap-up. In this video, I'm going to talk about all the books that I read in September. I read 7 books this month. 5 of those books were 4-star ratings and 2 of those books were 3-star ratings. I'm going to briefly talk about the first 3 books that I read because I covered them in my Canada Reads nominees video. So if you really want to hear all of my thoughts about them, you can go and check that video out. So the first book that I read this month was The Midnight Bargain by C.L. Polk. This is a typical historical fantasy romance novel, which at the end it ends with a really nice bow and everyone's happy. And yeah, it was entertaining and I gave it a 3-star rating. The second book that I read was Hinch by Natalie, Zina, Walschots. This is a plot-driven and fast-paced novel. It is humorous, dramatic, and there's mystery, and it is about superheroes. And there's some political, like office politics in it, which was really witty and fun to read. The writing is very witty. It was really entertaining and I enjoyed it. I gave it a 4-star rating. Third book that I read was Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. This book is about the collapse of civilization. A virus has wiped out about most of the population, and we see the experiences of our characters through when the actual virus is breaking through and 20 years after. The timeline goes back and forth between those 2 times, and we see how the characters' lives are affected by this virus. It was a really good story. I enjoyed it and I gave it a 4-star rating. Now let's get to the books that I haven't talked about in any of my videos. The 4th book this month that I read was Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. This book I was actually going to talk about in my Canada Reads nominees, but my hold didn't come for this until after I had put that video out, so I read it afterwards. This book is about the female character who gets a letter from her cousin, who is a newlywed. She writes in her letter that she needs help, and if her the main character could go to her house and help her with these mysterious events that are happening. So she does that. She goes over to her house to see what she's talking about and how she can help her. There's multiple things, supernatural things that are happening in this story, and the story goes from there. This is a haunted house story and has a lot of domestic violence in it as well. It was a really fast read and the story flows very well. The only part that I didn't like about it was just that the supernatural part is not very well explained. I felt like we needed more of the background of that and more explanation of how the whole haunted house thing is happening. I enjoyed it. It was very fun to read. It was just too short for my liking of explaining things. That's why I gave it a 4-star rating. So the 5th book that I finished this month was Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. We pick up where we left off at the end of The Way of Kings. The main characters go through a journey to be brought together, yet to be separated for their own character arc at the end. The story goes a bit faster, but it still gets the same detailed writing and multiple side characters that we got in The Way of Kings. We learn more about the magical system and the world. It was fun to read, but it lingers a little too much in the side characters, which I think it needed to be a little less. It is a big book. It is a chunker. Just go into it knowing that it is a bit bigger than the other one. So we know that it is Brandon Sanderson. You're going to get the same kind of writing as every other book that he writes. It was fun to read. It still took me a long time to read it. I still did it in hybrid form, and it took me like 3 weeks to finish it. Yeah, so I gave this one a 4-star rating as well. The 6th book that I read this month was Jade War by Fonda Lee. This book picks up a year after Jade City finishes. There's the same themes that we saw in Jade City in Jade War, yet those themes are expanded and amplified in this one. We get more drama and everything that comes with it, more of the same things that we saw in Jade City. We see more of the different countries around Kekon. We see more of Spania's side about Jade and the other countries about their political point of view about Jade. And this one is a roller coaster, okay? So there's multiple high events, like climactic events in this book. Every time that I thought, oh, okay, this is the main climax. No, you are going to get more. It was just multiple, just keep going. You have one event and then it ends, and then the next event comes, and then it ends, and then the next event comes. It just goes back and forth. I was thinking, could there be more? And yes, there was more done to these people. It's just the way that Fonda Lee writes. You're just going to constantly get multiple high events happening until the end of this book. Yeah, I didn't like the fact that there were so many of the big events happening. I think there should have been a little less of that. That's why I gave it a 4-star rating because of that. It was fun to read. I also did this one as a hybrid just because it is also a chunker. So that's why I did finish it this month as well. It's the same way as I did with Words of Radiance. So it was fun. The last book that I finished this month was Into the Broken Lands by Tanya Huff. This is a story of a group of people who go into part of the land that is kind of broken and has deadly creatures in it, and they're trying to find magical fire in this area of ancient land. It is a cozy book, cozy fantasy novel, and it is very character-driven book, not very plot-driven. There's a lot of details about the world we learn through each character. The chapters are written in the eye of each main character, and it's named by it's named of those characters. For example, there is a chapter called Ryan Now. So it is Ryan going through his we're seeing through his perspective through the present. And then the next chapter is like Ariana dot then. So we are going to the timeline of the future, and we see Ariana's point of view of what's happening in the future. I felt like this was more of like a teen fantasy than like an adult fantasy, yet it's written for adults. So I would say if you're in your 20s or late teens, you might like this. If you like The Midnight Bargain, you would probably like this. I gave this one a 3 out of 4 stars. And those were all the 7 books that I read this month. I did have a really good month of reading. I haven't read 7 books in a month in like years. So it was really fun to read, and I had a lot of 4-star ratings, which was really good for me. And that's about it for this month's wrap up. Let me know down in the comments if you have read any of these books, what you thought about them. And if you just want to let me know that you were here, put a leaf emoji down in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you like it, please press the like button. If you want to subscribe, feel free to press the subscribe button. And I will see you in the next one.